Let's cut to the chase. This is you. You just helped dispose of 3 unfortunate souls in corrosive liquid and buried them beneath layers of soil. Perhaps they have loved ones waiting back home, staring at the entrance with fragile hope. But you also have people waiting for you. And in this nightmare, the logic is brutally clear. If you don't complete this grim work, you'll become the next victim in the container. You're an ordinary guy, or, to be brutally frank, you're struggling. You were born into hardship and poverty, clung to your existence like a persistent illness. You dropped out of school before completing high school, and now your hands bear the marks from laboring as a builder with a pitiful wage of 6,000 pesos monthly. That income barely allows you to exist, not thrive. Today you attend your junior high class gathering, not because you miss anyone, but purely because the wealthy kid agreed to cover all the expenses. At the gathering, the atmosphere reeks of arrogance. Everyone talks endlessly about the dream of success, about their college credentials and their expensive vacations. When the unavoidable question comes about your occupation, the space goes quiet. You respond in a soft voice, right? Away, the smiles turn artificial. They tap you on the shoulder and offer you hollow words like every job has value, but their expressions reveal something else. It's a glance of pure disdain toward someone from the working class. Simply smile and concentrate on consuming the complimentary food, swallowing your shame along with the meal. Though outwardly you act unbothered, internally your confidence is crumbling to pieces. You observe your former classmates. They already run companies or hold management positions. Meanwhile, you, a fully grown adult, still have to stress about which meal of the week you should skip to have sufficient funds to purchase a pack of low-cost cigarettes.
Ow.
You reach home shuffling your feet after that gathering full of pretense and deception. Collapse on your worn bed and pull out your phone, seeking to dull your mind with social platforms before resting. Abruptly, your attention stops on an advertisement that appears too perfect to be real. Seeking builders with experience, no education required. The wage is 3,000 pesos weekly, with meals and housing provided. Your initial reaction is to keep scrolling. The screen. Existence has struck you enough to understand that there are no free meals for folks like you, and that when something appears so attractive, it's typically a dangerous trap. But then the memory of the class gathering strikes you again. Recall those expressions of revulsion, that false sympathy from your accomplished ex-classmates. The fury makes you pause your finger. You choose to send a text promising yourself that at the first hint of deception, you'll block the number and move on with your difficult life. To your shock, the reply is instant and surprisingly businesslike. There are no grammatical mistakes. They don't request money up front. They arrange you for a meeting the following day at an office structure in downtown. Scammers typically lurk in back alleys, not in premium business districts. You choose to take a chance. You figure that worst-case scenario you'll only waste a couple hours of your time. Frankly, your time isn't valuable regardless. The following day, you appear at the given location wearing your nicest shirt, the one you save for weddings and memorials. It's a contemporary office with climate control and receptionists who smell of costly fragrance. Everything in that space screams legitimacy and prosperity. The hiring managers are professionals with pristine white hearts. They pepper you with technical inquiries about concrete formulas, curing periods, and structural strength. You respond with assurance, sensing that finally someone appreciates your knowledge. When you muster courage and inquire why the wage is so substantial, they're not defensive, but clarify with composure. They inform you that a wealthy eccentric wants to construct a premium vacation resort in the heart of the untouched wilderness. The labor is demanding, the weather is brutal, and the remoteness is complete. That's the justification for the enormous compensation. They're purchasing your tolerance to the harsh conditions, not simply your ability with tools. They caution you that it's a time-sensitive opportunity. The transportation will depart in 48 hours to satisfy the timelines. If you want the compensation, you must authorize the agreement and board the vehicle. You go back home and begin investigating. On the web, you look up the organization's name, and to your shock, you discover actual references in builder communities and articles about vacation developments in the region. It's a legitimate building company. Your concerns disappear entirely. You're thrilled believing you just hit the career jackpot. You determine you'll go authorize that agreement, convinced that it's the chance that will transform your existence permanently. The important day came. You bid farewell to your relatives with a blend of anxiety and optimism, assuring them that when you come back with loaded pockets, you'll provide them the celebration they deserve. Upon reaching the office, the environment is still flawless. Show you in lengthy agreement and request very detailed data, like the precise location of your relatives and your siblings' contact numbers. You provide that data, assuming it's standard procedure. But then they request something strange. They place you before a recording device and insist. You film a statement affirming that you're going of your complete and total free will. They clarify that when laboring in the remote wilderness, there are fatal hazards from dangerous creatures or tropical illnesses, and the organization needs to shield itself legally against any incident. The reasoning is harsh, but persuasive, so you comply without objecting. With the recording made and the agreement authorized, you board the bus alongside other workers. The motor roars and the vehicle advances, taking you toward the assembly location. After 2 exhausting days of travel on routes that punish your spine, you finally reach the alleged paradise. But when you exit the bus, truth slaps you in the face. There's no premium resort being built. You only observe a wretched camp with shelters made of metal panels and decaying timber. A figure with a mark on his face and a stare that would chill. Blood emerges to receive you. He presents himself as the supervisor, but he resembles more a slaughterer. His initial command is harsh and immediate. Surrender all mobile phones and any communication equipment immediately. The group is all ready. In objection, many decline, shouting that they have freedoms and that they must speak with their relatives. The supervisor doesn't debate, doesn't become upset. With disturbing composure, he pulls out a firearm from his waist and discharges a round into the sky. The blast quiets the objections in a moment. The scent of gunpowder saturates the atmosphere, and terror seizes your gut. He drops the weapon, aims it straight at the shaking group, and releases a menacing laugh. With a harsh voice, he announces, "Welcome to the abyss, bunch of losers." After surrendering every last piece of your personal identity, they pull you alongside the other unfortunates toward a crumbling barracks. An enforcer with a serious expression gestures to a heap of worn clothes, scattered on the ground like refuse, and shouts and command at them. You have 5 minutes to switch. You grab a uniform from the heap. They're all the same, filthy and tattered. The sole difference is a digit printed on the front and rear. You don the outfit and observe your reflection in a shattered mirror. Note: you're number 67. The supervisor assembles the group and announces that their identities no longer matter. Now they're merely digits in his records. He guides them to a building made of corroded metal panels. Upon stepping inside, the stench is the initial thing that strikes you. A sickening blend of industrial substances, acid and burned flesh that sears your throat. The sight is a living horror. You observe lines of smoking metal containers where other workers, with the hollow stare of the living corpses, mix a horrible brew of human remains. Some remains are intact, others are already fragments floating in the boiling solution. Your stomach revolts and you expel violently, just like the others in the group. Fear overwhelms one of your colleagues. Horror blinds him and he sprints toward the way out screaming. It's a deadly error. A sharp shot echoes and his form drops dead to the ground with a burning hole in his skull. He gestures straight at you with the muzzle of his weapon. You number 67. Bring me that waste. Your knees tremble like gelatin, but the dread of death is a compelling force. You pull the heavy remains to his feet. The supervisor gives you an enormous and corroded cutting knife. He coldly commands you to sever the corpse's hand. You're frozen. The blade feels like tons in your clammy hand. You stare at the dead face of the person who moments ago was alive beside you. Your conscience screams not to proceed, that this is insanity, that you're a good human being. You sense like you're about to collapse. Your ethics battles against your survival drive. In a torturous struggle, the supervisor aims at your skull and murmurs, "Either you proceed right now, Or you transform into the second component of the mixture. You realize he's not bluffing. Shut your eyes. Request a wordless pardon from a deity who has obviously forsaken this location, and with a strangled cry of anguish, you lower the blade with all your strength.